Let there be light, and there was light. Okay, so we have been doing these affirmations, and I have been deconstructing the elements of the affirmation that we are doing. So before I continue, because I'm not seeing Father Adam in the back, and of course his energy is quite vital for us because we are wanting balance as much as transparency in these presentations. That's why we call on intuition, revelation, and waters every now and then to reflect to us that which we are doing. Of course, Mother Eve is there at the forefront. But yes, it's like the more the merrier in this sense, as long as we are all in sync, because that's what we believe in is happening here anyway. Well, of course, I'm sure you'll agree. If you are joining us for the first time, this is the channel where we have fun with words and numbers, numerology to be precise. I love numerology. Okay, so I get excited on numerology because it offers us such a great tool, such a great instrument to uncovering and deconstructing so much wonderful gems in the Bible, the King James Holy Bible. Yes, I'm not talking about international version, and no, because all these are really very much on the construct of the storyline, which of course have their root in other, it still have its root in, we could say, the biblical or ancient Greek teachings, but the stories that we have are based on that as well. But there's the construct. It's like, for instance, everything is, but it's just the story, meaning that you have the foundation, you have the first floor, the third, second, and so on, and all those constructs or the elements that really build or make up that tower block, or like some would say in the USA is skyscrapers. So basically it's really getting to understand those building blocks, because they have had their formation within us. That construct has been part of our makeup. They have been part of our energy. Energy is very important word right now. Let's just hinge onto energy, because I really want to show you something. So we have been talking about the word, or the affirmation, let there be light, and there was light. That was the first note that we have of the spokes goddess in the Bible. The spokes goddess, the said God. When we see the S right here, we are talking about the serpent. We are talking about the snake. We are talking about Eve. We are talking about Christ. We are talking about those, it's energy, the energy of that. This is why I am hinging on the word energy right now. So energy in this sense, let's look at this. I'm really wanting to hold on to both the petal flower. This is the 8 petal flower that we have come to see, number the E right here. We have seen the E as the 8 petal flower. And I was also still wanting to work out how I got to it, but mathematically we have got to it. So yes, all right, we'll get back to it. It has happened before that we have found it, meaning there is an equation for it. Okay, so we have looked at the word let, and we also see that in these 2 columns here, for instance, because it's let there be light, we could call this a story, because it has 2 lines or 2 stances. Let there be light, and there was light. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of words, and each set of word, apart from the third apart from the third column right here, it is the third column. That's interesting, because we are looking at let there be light, and we have looked at it very closely with the first letter. The first letter has a numerical value of 3, which is L. So L equals 3. And it also equals 6. We have done that. When we add 6 plus 3, we get 9. So it tells us that it has in its makeup 9, which is the whole numerical value or range from 1 to 9. Now we have looked at E. E is that which has given us the 8-petal flower. It forms a W, it forms an E. This is the E, and it is 3, and it works out like this. So this is the E. I'm glad we got to this. We can erase it now. So E actually forms an 8-petal flower. That's how we have E as 8. And we have the T, of course, which has a numerical value of 2 right there. It equals, and the 2, of course, when we do the numerical, we have done this, but we have seen 2 also as 13. It is quite versatile in that way, but let's just say that 2 equals 11 in this sense. 11 is also 9. We could see the T as 9. We can also see, as we say, there is a way we could look at L as 9 as well. But I have done different modes in here just to see how extensive let is. So we could say, I would say 3 9's 27, but this would be 26, sorry. 8, 9 and 9, 18, 19, 20, 26. We can see that. And it would be 8. And we are doing God right there, because God equals 8. Now, there was something that I saw. Okay, just to give you the juice on here, we are saying here, in case you're just getting onto this cycle of the series of Let There Be Light and There Was Light. Let There Be Light and There Was Light has been now discovered as the most powerful affirmation. It is the first affirmation. This is why we have missed it. We have got lost in the story. And that's why Mother Eve was saying, come back, come back. Mother Eve had been calling us back to this, to her words, to examine her words, because it is the word that has been made flesh, and that is what everything has been formed. It has derived from, we could say. We speak into things, and life came into that way. So that's what Mother Eve had asked us to come and examine this. So here we see, like I was saying, the only difference here, we had the bee. We also have discovered that the bee is that which is the beehive, and it's also the number 13. I have spoken extensively about that, but that is where the incubation for manifestation is. 13 is the incubation for manifestation. 13 is the incubation for manifestation. You can use that as your affirmation, being clear of what you are wanting to manifest. 13 is the incubation for manifestation. When you say this and you agree with your two selves, your brain has come into that agreement with your heart, you have formed a bond. This is where you have bonded on this. All right. Now, what I was looking at very closely here, we see the L, of course, as we say, equals 3. Then we see that 3, and looking at the third word equals 7. And of course, the third column equals 5. So no, the third word, sorry, the third word and this other word here, so that would be the third and the sixth word equals 7. So we are looking at 3 plus 6, which is 9, but 3, the third and the sixth word both equals 7. So we can see from that affirmation of saying let there be light, and there was light, this is where we can say that the two gods, the two sets of gods had come into being there. All the 14 Eves that we learn about had also come into that, because Mother Eve speaks of 14 Eves. The 14 Eves would be 7 of the visible planets and 7 seas. So we can see that that would come into her. So basically, Mother Eve had planted in that beehive. The bee we see is also synonymous in that way because it's the 3, as I say, and we also see the W in the was. This is what Mother Eve is teaching us, and this is, I hope you get this. So in the third meaning, this is why we say it's 3 steps to this affirmation. 1, 2, 3. You utter, let there be light, and there was light. The second step is that you anchor or make contact, whether in whatever way that you do that, using one of your 5 senses, I would say, whether it's your eyes, your taste, or whatever it is, you use 3. So it's 1, and the second is doing a 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. You touch, you knock, you sing, or whatever it is that you do 3 times. And then the third step is that you breathe 11 times. If you don't do 11, you can do 2. It's still okay. But 11 takes you into the 9. In your mind, you know you are doing the 9, but 11 is, or 2 is also, this is where we are doing the trick with the brain, because 2 is also 11. Okay, so just to show you, in all this is so crucial to note. The W here has in it the ability to also be the 8-petal flower. So it is M, it is 3, it is W, and it is E. So that's the 8-petal flower coming into shape. So there's it's set. Now, of course, with the B, I have showed this because it is 3. We can do the same thing here. So we are looking at 2 sets of 8 in this column right here to set. It's as if there was a tray, or you have put something in the tray and then you cover it to germinate. It's like you put seeds in the ground and you cover it. That's what it is. There's the power of 2 right there. And of course, we see that the 2 words coming together in the number of letters, they form 5. That is really the 5 we are talking about. The said God is really there live in this. The other thing to note is that we have the E, of course. Even in B, we have the, excuse me, as 13, which has that. But we also have the E, which has the ability to become the 8-petal flower. So if you just said, let there be light, I think it's quite powerful too. Oh, need to have some. Okay, let's try and get this one done. Then there's another thing. As I said, the W in the word was, excuse me, it's like the W is really giving an indication of what it is that you want to be seen as. meaning make it present. AS. So W is as what? Is it as free? Is it as M? Is it as B? Is it as the breast? Is it as the mouth? Which equals 5. So it's telling us that this W here is the 5. It can be whatever you want it to be. Make it as vivid as whatever it is. That's the affirmation right here. So I'm looking at the two words. I'm hearing be wise, but it's like B-E-W-A-S. Be wise. Of course, there is not I-S-E, but I'm seeing as if it's be wise, as if there is a message saying to be wise. And it would be interesting to do the numerical value and see if that would work as well, because there were wise men who really wrote the Bible. Okay, so be wise, W-I-S-E, that is 5915. So when this is 10, this is 20. So to be wise is 20. Yes, 20 is wise. This is 2. So we are talking about 2 again with that number, with the T. T is 2. So when we see let, that T right here, that's the wisdom. This is where we are nailing things down. Okay. And of course B is 7. So there's a 7, and we could say it's 7-11 to be wise, because 2 is also 11 and B is 7. Okay. And here, of course, 7 here is 14. 14 is 5. All right. We've got that. But that's the level of creativity you can develop when Mother Eve is communicating with you. She might just tell you to use this as your anchor. Remember, it's like be wise, or be M as, or be as, or whatever it is, that, because she says, I have given you the spirit of sound mind. So listen. When she says listen. So I think that that is really telling quite a lot here. So here we have done all the numerical values here. And when we add these up together, because this would be 4, this would be 5, this would be 4, and this would be 2. We add these together and get the overall numerical value, which we have done already, but let's do it again. So 4 and 4 is 8, and 5 would be 13. We are talking about 13, and that would be 14, 15. 15, of course, is really in direct correlation. So Mother Eve is really expressing 15 here. When we do the numerical value for the word said, let's do this here, because she is the said God. Let's just look at the beauty of this. Then we add this up, add these up, 10, 14, 15. That's the said God. So basically everything we speak out right there in this first affirmation, it really is 15. 15, there's the magic of 15. So when we hear about 15 is being a love number, we know right here that it is of the said God. It is said. Now when we do the word God, of course adding God to it, it becomes 14, and 1 plus 4 is 5. But to really put things in perspective, then we have 5. Remember the power of 5, because that's the serpent, that's Mother Eve. When we do 6, 9, 4, 5, and add these together, 9 plus 9 is 18. This is 24. 2 plus 4 is 6, takes us back to here. So we can also see how the 24 hours of the day also came into this. The 24 hours of the day was right there. Everything is right there. Why is it there? Because it is also here. Here is in your heart. It is also in He. it is also in her. It is here and it is also there. So when you have your affirmation, remember whatever is there, it's already here. So hence the power of when Christ said believe. But now Mother Eve is showing us how to know, not just believe. Now she's giving us the instrument how to know, because it's in the numbers. It's in the numbers. So the B has been very powerful here. We understand it's like the bank or incubator. So do join me again. We are going on as much as we can to really get the full essence as much as we can with Let There Be Light. And there was light. So I'm doing this anchoring with you now on this wonderful affirmation. And so let there be light, and there was light. I'm blowing you kisses. Now we know about the kisses of Judas. Oh.